Hello, everyone. This is Lucas speaking. We are supposed to start right now, but let's give everyone a minute to join first. Right now, it is 2 p.m. in my beautiful Prague in the heart of Europe. And I have a little favor from every one of you to ask here. Jump into chat and let me know when you are joining from. Because for us here at Easy Software, it's always fun to see the reach of Easy Redmine. So go into chat and write where you're coming from. Once again, for me, for example, in Prague, Czech Republic, and now it's jumping in. That's everyone should be able to see. So feel free to jump into chat and just see how many people we have coming in. I see Germany, I see Netherlands, Kenya, Belgium, Italy. But I know, well, that's Czech Republic too. Italy, Brazil. I like it. I like what's coming in. There's more and more people joining right now, so we're just gonna give it a few more seconds. And once that's done, we're gonna do the official launch, official intro of the webinar, and we can focus on something that you actually came here for. I think it's 14:01. I think we're getting close to that point, actually. Hello from Poland. Hello, Karol. Hello, Matthias. Hello, Daniel. Hello, Stefani. I cannot say hello to everybody, unfortunately, but I do appreciate every one of you joining in. Okay, I'm gonna disable the chat and let's move forward with the actual content of the webinar. So let's launch it. Let's launch it officially. Hello, everyone joining today's webinar. Time to close your Outlooks, pause your Spotify's, give your TikTok application a break. My name is Lucas Hubka, and I will be today's host. Some of you might be quite familiar with me already. My condolences to those. However, I will not be doing the majority of speaking here. That's up to my more professional guest for today. I have Jan Řeřicha with me, one of our product owners. Say hello, Jan.
Hello, Lucas. Good afternoon to everybody.
Are you prepared for today?
Of course I am.
Very nice, as always. The agenda of the webinar very shortly. After I'm done with the intro, Jan will kick this off with a very simple overview of Easy Redmine. After all, some of you might not have a ton of experience with our software, and it's quite fine. However, some of you might appreciate the insight of, like a little summarization of Easy Redmine can actually offer or what the software actually does. However, the topic for today is the new version that we're coming out with, the version 13 of Easy Redmine. If you are interested about new features and functionalities, I suggest to keep your eyes on this screen. That's what it's about to be happening. Once we are done with the presentation, we'll do a Q&A. And speaking of Q&A, that's where you guys come in. There's a button on the bottom of this Zoom application that actually allows you to ask questions. If you will see anything that interests you or you will have some follow-up questions, just click it. Just click that button, ask us questions, and at the end of the webinar, we'll be able to address it live and talk about it a little bit more. This webinar is also being recorded, so if you'll feel like sharing the recording with some of your colleagues, for example, we only encourage you to do that. It sounds good to us. I mean, whatever you can share across the organization, it's generally much easier than trying to replicate the information yourselves. Just share the recording. Allow me to share a few sentences before I pass the word, because I do truly appreciate your time. I know it's not that easy to make time for webinars, especially every single vendor, every single software does webinar, right? So the fact that you're here is actually makes me glad, and I do appreciate it. We strongly believe in our software. Easy Redmine combines project and work management, allows for a lot of customizations, and we're putting a lot of effort into making it as user-friendly as possible, because we strongly believe that the day-to-day usage of all the people is what makes or breaks the software. With the new version, we're actually introducing a final design that we've been iterating over the past few years. And as the best open source alternative to Jira Stack, we also bring the most authentic and precise representation of Scrum principles within a new piece of software that Jan is actually going to present, along with all our waterfall and traditional project methodology functionalities that still remain in the system. I'm quite excited that we can introduce this new version. So I don't know. I feel like it's just about the time to jump in. By the way, there are going to be some polls in the middle of the webinar. Once again, would highly appreciate any form of participation or feedback on that. But first things first, Jan, are you ready to take our guests into version 13?
Yes, I am. So I hope you are able to see my screen right now.
Yes, not
Do
in
you
the
see a little
right now. Yeah, now I see the presentation.
Cool.
Perfect. So I'm muting myself.
Okay,
Go ahead.
so thanks, Lukasz. So I feel like it's important to recap on what Easy Redmine and Easy Project is. Easy Redmine and Easy Project are the technically identical products. So I will refer to Easy Redmine, but I mean Easy Project as well. We like to position ourselves as the most advanced project management software that is based on open source technologies. What it actually means for you is that you can take all the benefits that come with open source for example, flexibility, options to develop some third-party plugins, or even just the possibility to see the source code. Our company is offering enterprise-grade support. So we have a dedicated customer care who works in different languages. We have the team of consultants who is helping with the adoption and training of the software. So overall, we are trying to achieve customer success as it should be. Our main focus is on developing powerful project tools. I will recap them in a second. And we are delivering our solutions in cloud and on premises, so on your own servers, and also in some, let's say, hybrid version, which is a private cloud. So if you are interested in any of these, or combination of these, you are definitely at a good place. Easy Redmine is a really broad product and broad piece of software, and it has many different features. For example, when speaking about project management, we have a Gantt chart, we have a work breakdown structure, risk management, and project finances, mind maps. So these are all the tools that all the project managers know, and there are many project management softwares, but we praise ourselves in going a little further beyond the project management. So we also have integrated knowledge base based on media wiki, which is integrated with tasks in Easy Redmine. So you can link knowledge articles with the tasks, and there is rich text editor for the knowledge base. So very good piece of software on its own. And also asset and configuration management, which allows you to build your own databases. If you, for example, want to have a database of your hardware or software licenses or contacts or managed services or anything else that you want to have in a form of database in your cloud-based project management and work management software. So that's a brief introduction of the whole Easy Redmine and why we are here today at this webinar. It's because we are releasing version 13. Version 13, it's a major release for us. We are doing major releases every year. On top of that, we are also releasing minor changes that come every month. So you can see that the release notes are full of a lot of descriptions and new features that we are releasing every year. Major release is still special. It's just once a year. It requires a lot of preparation from us and also from our clients. it's a big step forward. There are some technological changes to the technological stack that allow us to basically grow more and more. For this year, the technological changes are mainly focused on the adoption of Docker that we believe will increase the stability of our cloud applications dramatically. Okay, so there was a brief introduction of Easy Redmine as a whole, and I will start with the presentation of what's new in version 13, but just before that, I would ask Lukáš to send out the polls to see what features you are specifically interested in. So, Lukáš, I see that the poll is out.
Yes, I did it. It was just 2 clicks of a mouse, so that there wasn't much to, a lot of potential to fail. Let's put it that way.
Nice.
We've got a lot of answers coming in already.
What people here are, let's see what people here are interested in.
Yeah, I'll give it like 10, 20 seconds, just so we don't delay the webinar way too much. So at least we'll get to know, how many people actually pay attention, how many people are like actively watching, because now but there's a lot of votes coming in. I think we've just passed 50 votes, so. All right, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 2, 2, 2.
No pressure.
2, 2, 2, 2, 1, 0. Okay, I'm ending the poll. And I'm sharing results for everyone.
Okay. Day-to-day task management is number 1. Gantt chart, number 2, strongly. Okay, number 3, it looks like resource management.
I mean, cool. What a coincidence that we can do all of those, right?
What a coincidence, yes. Okay, so
all right, I'm gonna stop sharing and close this window. I'm muting myself. Go ahead, Honda.
Okay, so let's continue. Hope you see the screen again with the demo.
I do.
Okay, so this is what Easy Redmine version 13 looks like. We have a few design changes that we accumulated over a couple of years. That we hope that this design will stay for us for a couple of years from now. So you see the left menu, which is your main menu that you would use every day with, for example, navigation for your dashboard, projects, Gantt, resources, the things that you mentioned that interests you the most. We have a global menu to give you access to all the features and plugins, and here I really mean all of them from a global perspective. So not restricted by, let's say, a context of one project. It's really the most that your permissions allow you to see in the context of each feature. We redesigned this user section. Right now you can seamlessly switch between light and dark mode. Search takes the prominent space over here in the middle of the top bar. I will talk about this in a minute. And before that, I just wanted to mention that we also worked on the basically main page that is in the application. That's a detail of one specific task where you see all the attributes, all the actions you have to work with the task, dating of the task, and reading through it should be a little better with version 13. I mentioned this select dashboard. It's a new addition to our features, and I would like to briefly introduce what it does. So Easy Redmine comes with a lot of features and outputs for your data. Typically, it would be a list that you can see over here, a list of tasks. We have some matrices, trends, charts. And these functions can work separately, but you can also compile a dashboard out of these, let's say, widgets. So this, where I'm standing at, is an example of one type of a dashboard. This is a homepage that is related to one specific user. So each user can have a different homepage on its own. We do the same for the projects, where the context is not limited to a user, but to a project. So every project has its own overview dashboard. Also, if we talk about some, let's say, advanced and complicated features like help desk also has a dashboard, and we are shipping Easy Redmine with, let's say, template that sets up for you these dashboards. And finally, we have a totally customizable dashboards. We call them custom dashboards. You can set whatever you want. They are not limited by any context, not a user, not a project, not anything. And you can build basically anything that you want on these dashboards. They are just a free floating page that you can fill in with wizards, charts, graphs, tables, anything you want. And this is basically a navigational item that allows you to navigate these dashboards very quickly. So I can switch between those dashboards. If I visit any dashboard regularly, for example, for me, it would be a release dashboard when we are releasing new versions. I would make it favorite over here, and I would be able to access it as I go. So that was the design changes and reminder of the powerful dashboards that we have. But the main topic of version 13 is the Scrum boards. And before I jump into the presentation of the Scrum boards, I would like Lukáš to ask Lukáš for another poll, which is about your commitment or engagement with the Scrum. So Lukáš, please, I will stop sharing.
And I did it again. I launched it.
So do you use Scrum within your organization? Simple question, even simpler than the other one.
This is the second poll, and if I'm not mistaken, that's the last, right? So our viewers don't have to be worried that we will be spamming them with polls. Now, for me, this is very interesting because I've heard I've seen many companies doing Scrum. Overall, I've seen many companies doing Agile, even though in some cases it's just like a covered up waterfall structure, sort of mixed with Agile a little bit because it's very sexy to do Agile these days, right? So it's very intriguing for me.
It is, the trend is to do a lot of Scrum and Agile work because it's the framework that is the best suitable for the situations where you don't know what exactly you want, but you have to react and accommodate quickly. So what do we see here in the results? 30% yes, we use Scrum in certain teams and projects. So I'm assuming not all of them, but just some of them that are suitable. That's good. No, Scrum is not usable for us, 20% on a second place. Okay, so seems like two big groups over here. Considering Scrum adoption and 18%. Okay.
And to those of you that voted that you're not familiar with Scrum at all, I'm sure it's worth reviewing or looking into, right? Because there are some places where you can significantly help, even though it's not like an easy and automatic fix for everything, not at all.
Exactly.
Okay, so I am closing myself again.
For the situations where the Scrum makes a lot of sense, we believe we have a very good product. So just a short recap at the beginning. Scrum is a framework that has its own terminologies, job descriptions, and stuff like that. So there is a backlog, which is a set of the things that need to be done. There are some Scrum rituals, aka meetings, where the Scrum team meets, refinement, planning, review, and retrospective. So I feel like it's important to repeat this because we are building on this Scrum framework, and we collaborated with an expert who is Scrum.org certified. So we are really trying to follow the methodology of Scrum over here. So it's called Scrum boards, because there are 3 boards. Let's take a look at the first one. So we call this backlog board. It's where product owners would typically spend most of their time. And what do we see here? So on the left, I can see inbox of tasks. Task in a task here means a regular entity that you know for years. It's relatively complex, has a lot of attributes like status, assignee, a lot of comments, description, attachments, you name it. So this is the inbox for the tasks and inbox to the whole Scrum process. Second and third columns represent PBIs. PBI stands for product backlog item, and it's what travels through the whole Scrum cycle. So typically, a product owner would review the inbox. Inbox in the form of tasks usually represent problems. Product owners are professional decision makers who decide which problems the development team should solve. So based on some prioritization methods, I might possibly decide that I need to fix this problem with my team. So this is how the PBI, or actually the task which turns into the PBI, enters the backlog. And first section of the backlog is to refine. So this is to support, let's say, the first meeting in the Scrum framework. It's called refinement, and goal of the refinement is to specify the PBIs, make them smaller so they fit into one sprint, and provide estimations. And we can do just these things on this board. So I would not need inbox anymore. This will come later. I can focus on these. I would like to show you what the split looks like. So let's see here. I have a complex issue that I need to solve, but it's too big. It's too big for one sprint, so I can hit split. And you can see that I have this nice window where I can say that, okay, on this PBI, I will focus on ABC. On this PBI, I will focus on REST. I could, change the names over here. So this would be part 1, and this could be part 2. When I save it, I have those 2 PBIs over here, update 1, update 2. Second part of the refinement would be to give the estimation. So I can work with any numerical estimations like 2 or 3 story points, man days, weeks, whatever you use. Or I can also use t-shirt sizes to estimate like XL, or I can also use some emojis like a dinosaurus or elephant to indicate that this would be really big. So let's take, for example, this one, say it's 2 story points. And now I'm able to put it into the refined section of the back. This is the place which is actually ready for a sprint, should be well refined. The team should understand it. Me as a product owner, I can indicate what should go first, what has the highest priority, because product owner always needs to balance effort and value that will actually be delivered to the customer, because delivering value to the customer is product owner's main priority. So changing order over here. Moving on to the second board. This board is basically for management of the sprint. You can see we have some running sprint over here. I can see the sections of the backlog that I saw before. So mainly I focus on what is already refined and that I can use for my planning of the future sprints. So this is a section of the backlog. Let me make it smaller. And here I can see a running sprint that we have open at the moment. So these are PPIs that are currently in the sprint and are not done yet. I already have some PBIs that are done in this sprint, and I have a place to plan a little bit for the next sprint as well. And here you can see the sprint goals. Again, one of the super important pieces of Scrum framework is to have a sprint goal. I will jump from here to the last board, and then we will come back to this connecting board again to see, to show you what it looks like from the perspective of the development team. So this would be a board, last board, that is called Team Sprint Board. We have a red team over here, and you can think of this as the digital representation of a physical whiteboard that is something that Scrum is promoting as well. Scrum is about collaboration and ideally sitting in one room and closely collaborating on finishing the sprint goal and delivering value to the customer at the end of sprint and showing a presentation or demo at the review again at the end of the sprint, which is again from the terminology. So this board is super simple. You have the PBIs that the product owner during the discussion with the team put into the sprint. You can move them very freely through the board. Every PBI has its own swim lane, and you are able to create these little sticky notes. These are not really any entity. This is just a note that you are able to create very fast. And this is what the development team would do on their daily stand-up, on their, let's say, technical planning session or second planning, where they can split the PBI into all the necessary steps that needs to be done in order to finish PBI, which would mean to put it into the done column. Obviously, this is a relatively detailed board, so product owner might not even be interested in this level of the detail. It's important to say that we only have 3 columns on this board: to do, realization, and done, because this is what Scrum says is the best practice. A lot of different softwares make it very easy to create a large amount of columns, which in fact leads to silos, leads to not collaboration on achieving the sprint goal. It's actually defined as one of the Scrum entire patterns, having many of the columns on the board. Also, it's not written anywhere that testing needs to go before code review or testing needs to go after development. So having this large amount of columns is actually considered to be a hinder of the delivery of the value to the clients, which is the goal of Scrum. So I hope I mentioned everything about this board, a really nice board where you can reorder the swim lanes that represent the PBI and all the related sticky notes. There is also a last row, which is just empty without any PBI, which might be very handy for some stuff that is related to the time window of the sprint, but not really related to any of the PBIs that I have on the board. So that would be a perspective of the development team during one sprint, mainly used for daily scrums, aka stand-ups. Now let me go back to the overview board, where I would like to show you a few more things. So first of all, it's possible to filter here. We are using 2 and only ways to categorize the PBIs. One of them is the color, underlying color of the PBI. So I just used to filter that. And also we are using these emojis. So if you click on here, you can, for example, filter out all the bugs, which I can see over here in my backlog. So as I said before, this sprint is in the progress. So let's imagine we are at the review session at the end of the sprint, and we are showing the results of the sprint to the client. So in this sprint, we have finished these 3 PBIs. We already took this PBI to the next sprint because we are sure we will not finish it. And we have to still decide about this one because we need to finish the sprint somehow. And I basically have two options. Either I can say, okay, this new ticket form is good enough, and I can put it to the done, or it's not good enough, and I will need to work on it in the next sprint. So I can just drag and drop it here. I would do it right now, or I could say, okay, it's not done yet, but I don't want to work on it next sprint, so I would return it back to the backlog because I see the first board refined section of the backlog. I would put it here, maybe not to the refined, but to the among the PBIs that still need to be refined because it would be probably something else that original was on the ticket. So by that, on the review, I've cleaned the reminders of the current sprint. I would just close the sprint, and it immediately takes me to the planning session, where I can see the leftovers from the previous sprint, integration and the ticket form. I see it here. I could fill up the sprint with the PBIs that I refined at the very beginning on the first board. And if I know that the velocity of my team is somewhere around 20 story points that I'm using as the estimations over here, I would stop here and I would kick off the sprint. So start sprint over here. And we are basically at the beginning where we were when we started. So I have a running sprint, a lot of PBIs that are not done, and my goal is to put them to the done column. Yeah, as I said, we were trying to follow the methodology on these. We are trying to support the main meetings that the Scrum framework describes as refinement, planning, review, and daily. We are trying to avoid Scrum anti-patterns, mainly with the structure of this sprint board, where we don't allow more than 3 columns as they are set up here. And we also encourage the collaboration by the fact that we are not allowing to have assignees for the PBIs, because Scrum says that it's responsibility of the whole team to deliver the value at the end of the sprint. So assignment of the PBI would potentially mean another Scrum anti-pattern that is owning the row on the board, and that's what we don't want. We want to avoid that situation. Okay, so that's for the sprint boards. We have also some ways to visualize a little bit of data to give reports to the story points that were finished during the couple of last sprints. Maybe I could show that. So Scrum boards, sprints overview. So these are the sprints as they went, count of PBIs that were finished, and story points that were finished. Let's take a look at the list of all the PBIs. If I needed them, I could find them over here. Okay, so hopefully I was able to broadcast the message that we are trying to send with these Scrum boards. And feel free to ask questions if you want, because I guess, Lukáš, that's what's coming up next.
You are correct. You're stealing my thunder. No. I've been answering some questions in the Q&A in the meantime, because there are some questions that, I don't know, some of them require, let's say, a little more effort than just addressing them here on the webinar. Some of them are not related to version 13 or like the new release. So we've got a few of those. So let's go one by one. And Jan, you can tell me which of them are somewhat addressable or discussable here, and which of them should be taken, let's say, offline and then resolved, on a separate phone call or through an email. What's important here is that there is actually multiple people interested in task templates. It's something that we don't have right now. Francois actually asks, when will Easy Redmine enable to do task templates? Having to copy a template task and move it to a correct project is just nonsense. It would save a lot of time when using a lot of tasks as we do. And there's a lot of upvotes, and some people actually, engaged with that comment, with that question as well. Is there anything you can share on this topic?
Yes, yeah. So first, I should say that we already have some features related to this question. We have an option to copy a task. We also have a new task form where you can pre-fill some attributes. For example, select to which project the task when it's created should arrive. Hide some fields, show some fields, things like that. And at the same time, these basic things like work with tasks would most probably be something that we would like to revisit during the cycle of version 14. So during the upcoming months and quarters. Yeah, just we think that after the Scrum we just developed into version 13, it would be good to revisit these fundamental things, such as, for example, task and task templates.
Is there any place, because I've seen, let's say, 5 upvotes, some comments, there's multiple people interested in this. Is there any place where they can share this opinion so we can gather feedback and sort of help us realize?
Yes, of course, we have a portal where we are presenting some of our ideas for the features, and also it's possible to suggest some new features over there. So I will copy the link to this feature board and type it as the answer to these questions.
Right. It's something that we also use with our business partners, because that's generally what I do a lot. And our business partners tend to talk to a lot of clients as well. And if they feel like some client, like there's an idea or a requirement that keeps on coming back, they use this product board portal where they can express their interest. And then just like these questions, you can just type in what you're looking for. And based on the amount of upvotes you will get from partners, other clients, maybe even internal people from Easy Software, it significantly increases the chance of the feature being put into the roadmap. So if task templates is something very interesting to you, I would highly encourage you to go to the product board portal and just, you don't even have to set up an account. All it takes is it just needs your email address and a name, nothing else. And you can just, post a screenshot and say, hey, I would appreciate this. And we'll see where that goes.
And the email is not to spam you, but if we decide to push the feature to the development, you can be informed about that, because we would have the list of the people who gave their insights.
That is true. We're not gathering emails from this product board to use for marketing campaigns and stuff like that. That's not the purpose. It's not like when you go to a news page and the first thing that pops up to you is give us your email and subscribe to a newsletter. That's not the case here. All right. A question from Rene. I'm coming from Microsoft project, and I fear that the task creation and reviewing and modification of those tasks takes ages due to the web-based application, which Easy Redmine is a web-based application. How to handle tasks and modification as quick as it would be in Excel? Can I export something, modify it, and bring it back as an import? What would be the best practice?
This is a difficult and challenging question, because MX project, and I'm assuming that Rene is using the let's say local client of MS project, where obviously the requirements for the resources of online tool that is running through from cloud and have different people accessing it from different computers and having actually the collaboration. So comparing the requirements for this kind of, let's say, cloud tool to a local MS project tool are totally different, and definitely you would be able to create more tasks and bigger projects and create those tasks faster in your local MS project compared to basically any cloud software that is running via browser, because that's simply a trade-off. What you are probably missing in your MS project local instance is the collaboration with your colleagues who might write comments, move percentage done of a task, raise the priority of the task to indicate that there is some problem, or change a due date when they are not able to finish the task on time. So the level of collaboration, I believe, would be missing in such case. So it's a trade-off.
In general, when I used to be a sales guy, or let's say when I used to be presenting Easy Redmine, it was very much about scheduling a demo with our sales team at this step and just go through all the advantages of Easy Redmine. And at the end of the day, if those advantages outweigh this, the way it works with tasks, it makes sense. If it doesn't, then doesn't make, like, we're not gonna force anyone into a decision that wouldn't increase the productivity or the user experience. So yeah, I would probably say contacting sales and scheduling a demo and just go through questions, maybe invite one of our consultants, someone from pre-sales would make sense here.
And as well.
Question from Victoria. Let's talk about trends for attendance entity. When I click on the trend module and open the list of attendances, I don't see the user in the list. What's the point of seeing attendance without the info of the particular person? That's tested in Easy version 13 demo. This is exactly one of the questions that might be a little too difficult to like imagine what this exactly is about. So if you don't have anything else, Jan, I would once again suggest sales, or what I've suggested to some other questions is our support mailbox, support@easyredmine.com. If you feel like there is a plugin or a widget or a module in Easy Redmine that's not working as intended, we highly encourage to just ping that to support@easyredmine.com, which will trigger through two things. One, someone will take a look at it and see if it is working correctly, as what we assume is correct. And step number two that's going to be triggered is someone from either our consulting or sales teams will reach out to you, and you will be able to ask further questions through email, or you will be able to schedule an online call where you can actually just go back and forth instead of just ping-ponging an email and resolve that quicker. There's a question from Maja Bean. When the PBI is moved to done status, does the status in the task automatically change from which the PBI is created? So that's very relevant to the version 13 and what we've been talking about.
Good question. Short answer is no, but I wanted to show you something. Let me share again. So I think I didn't speak about the fact that right now I'm at the PBI and there is a source task link over here. So I can always find the task that originally created the PBI. And there is this section that says product backlog items. So I can see what PBIs are related to the task. I can see what was their estimate, whether they are on some board, whether they are on some backlog, or whether any team started working on them directly. So I would see the PBI is done over here. It wouldn't change the status of the task for me automatically. But interesting thought. We can consider that. That's one of the things that should go to the portal.
Okay. Moving on, a question from Christoph. Have you thought about a sprint retrospective board for every closed sprint to record what went well or what did not go well?
Christoph probably uses Scrum, as I can hear, or I'm assuming from the question. Sprint retrospective is the only, let's say, Scrum framework meeting that we don't have direct support in the Easy Redmine for. We made a decision that this retrospective, let's say, notes are easily doable somewhere else in Word or OneNote or wherever. So we didn't work on this because we thought there wouldn't be much value we could add on this board. So it's not there at the moment, but we would see if it is requested often. For this launch, we decided to not to have it in the first version.
Sorry, I was typing out a quick question on the side in the meantime. A question or an observation from Marcus. It seems that the whole new Scrum boards and flows are strict. It should be possible to adjust, configure to your own needs. I know that we've spoken about this internally prior to the webinar as well, so I'm sure that you have some form of insight into this.
It's good to see known names after a long time. So Marcus, yes, so we made a decision to build the dedicated boards and dedicated views, and obviously the price for that is let's say limiting the flexibility a little bit. Although I really stand for the decisions that we made in terms of the fact that let's say the light interface and the ability to quickly create the sticky notes and PBIs will in the long run, let's say, outweigh the, let's say, missing possibilities to, let's say, custom fields or fourth, fifth column and stuff like that, because we really tried to take the best of the Scrum knowledge and also the Scrum anti-patterns and work from there.
And I will just add to that there's still the product board portal, right? Where everyone can vote or voice their opinion. And once again, like if we feel like this is the right way, if it ends up that we have dozens and dozens of opinions that go against it, well, our main mission here is to make sure that our people like using that software. So we would definitely take it into consideration. But the product board portal is a great place to start to, if you feel like something should be changed about the software.
And maybe I will mention also the fact that we released custom Kanban boards. I think it was Q1 2023, which is a board that represents the tasks, so the original tasks, not the PBIs. And it allows you to build as many columns as you want. So it's a trade-off, either working in the Scrum as it should be with PBIs and having it very light, or working the traditional way with the tasks that have many attributes and being able to put them into the Kanban board with basically unlimited number of columns.
There's a lot of like follow-up questions in the Q&A that are related to something else. For example, Christoph mentions the quick planning feature when we were talking about how quickly we can work with tasks. The quick planning feature in Easy Redmine, that's a good call. I think there are two questions to handle. Is there a way in the new version to set an approver for a time spent entry? In the current version, it seems anyone can approve a time spent entry.
This doesn't seem to be right. There is one level of let's say approvers. So two levels in total. One level of people who fill in the timesheet. Second level of the people who approve those time entries. This seems like something that is missing in the configuration. So I would suggest Joseph to reach out to support to try to figure out where the problem might be.
For example, our timesheets, the functionality where you can log time, that definitely does support the approving of your superior, right, Jan? Mm-hmm. That should be the case. All right.
Yes.
A question from Robert. probably the last one, as we're sort of reaching the 50 minutes of the webinar. It can be broken down into two questions, actually. Will it be possible to export risk tasks also with the solution attacked?
I'm not sure what this solution attacked means. We have a risk register. Risks are separate entity from tasks. So you could either export tasks and as one of the columns show the related risks, or the other way around, so show the export the risks, and as one of the columns for risks to have the associated tasks. So at least some answer.
And the second one is, in general, is it possible to export customized pages with the filters applied? So I assume you're a user, you log in and you have this homepage with tabs and all these, filters predefined.
Yeah, it's possible via the native browser feature to print. So Control Command P, and that's the way how you export the dashboard.
And in case it would just be a misunderstanding, you wouldn't be looking to export it out of Easy Redmine elsewhere. I'm just going to mention that each of these dashboards and pages you can actually save as a template, and then you can roll that template out to any other user or group of users or anyone else in the system. So generally what happens for us internally is, me as a sales director, I will sit down and I will think about, okay, what do I want the homepage of my team to look like? Like when our salespeople log into Easy Redmine, what do I want them to see? And I'm just gonna click it in my own environment. And when I feel confident about it, I'm just gonna save the whole thing as a template, and then I'll just roll it out across my whole department, and everyone sees this, these homepages that I have prepared for them.
Mm-hmm. So that's definitely possible. The same goes with projects. If I have a nice dashboard for a project, I can copy and paste it to a different project. This question could also be interpreted as if I want to export the layout from Easy Redmine to different software, then it would not be possible. And this question could also be interpreted as if it is possible to export some data from the dashboard to, let's say, some BI tool. In that case, it would be better to go with APIs and find the right, store data and then represent it in the BI tool, in the tools that the BI tool has.
Yep. I forgot to click that one. Okay, last one. Then we have to close it out. We've got the last question from Daniel. Is it possible to query the tasks used with Scrum and then mass manipulate the tasks so they can set the status to done, for example, for probably some form of mass editing in the Scrum view?
So I will just repeat that there are two different things: tasks and PBIs. Tasks are just in the inbox. PBIs are everywhere else during the Scrum flow. We have the separate query for PBIs. So that's possible. There, as you know, already is a query for the tasks. And I think, but I'm not 100% sure, one of the columns for the tasks query should be a column which says product backlog board, and it basically connects the task with the inbox to the board where it should show. I forgot to mention that we can support one backlog or many backlogs. So I think the right place for you to try would be to export tasks and search for a column that is called product backlog board.
And while I close this out, once again, many of these questions is literally impossible to answer right here. So once again, we have sales teams, we have consulting teams, we've got pre-sales waiting. If you go to easyredmine.com and start trial accounts to explore, once you are, let's say, ready to move forward and actually talk to someone on our side, we are more than happy to do that. We do personal presentations every single day to many of our clients. No question is a stupid question in this regard. Like, For some of us, it's quite obvious how some of these things work, but it doesn't necessarily have to mean that it has to be obvious to you. So feel free to keep asking questions, even though they might seem banal or maybe just like very light. It still makes sense to ask them. I don't know. I think everything that was supposed to be said was said. Once again, I'm just going to remind that this webinar was being recorded and that the recording is going to be shared afterwards. And I feel like anything else I'm going to say right now is just going to be fill up or fill in sentences. So, Jan, is there anything that you want to say before I click the end button?
No, thanks, Lukáš, for your collaboration on this webinar. And I really encourage everybody to just go to the web, set up a trial, try it, and engage in a discussion with the representatives of our sales or support department.
Yes, and bye-bye to US, bye-bye to Brazil, bye-bye to Peru, bye-bye to Netherlands, from everywhere where you were joining based on the chat earlier. Thanks again for your attention and enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. It's Wednesday, right? Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Bye-bye, guys. Bye.
Thanks and have a nice day.